254 here again. Welcome back to another episode of MGM Reviews, and today I'm joined here by my good friend Dan's Reviews.
Hey guys, how you guys doing?
And today we're actually going to be doing a very special video. We're going to be doing a double review for The Plague Season 5 Episode 2 and Season 5 Episode 3, made by our good friend Undead Freak 78. He does a really good job on this series, guys, so go show him some support. Check out the series. It's got 5 seasons, and yeah, so without further ado, guys, let's get right into it. So, what did I think of this episode, guys? 502. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's decent, but like Dan said in his review, yeah, I've got issues with this episode, guys, and the main one being, yeah, the lack of music. I think it's very kind of just, like, random how, like, you know, he's, like, running into, like, a horde of, the plague people, and, like, it's just no music or anything, and you just hear slice, 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 slice. It goes on for, like, a minute and a half. And, yeah, like, the kills are kind of cool and all, but, like, you know, add a soundtrack over it, because when this when this episode had music in it, it was very well done. Like, when he's chasing the One World Order soldier guy, and when he's heading to the outpost and you see the Vinewood Hills sign, I thought the music, when the episode had it, was very good. And, like, I just wish we got a bit more of that. Another thing I wasn't a big fan of in this episode was Anthony kind of just, you know, not acting smart. He's kind of just going on a one-man renegade mission, and he's like, oh, I have to go kill people. Oh, I'm going to go to this outpost by myself and attack it all by myself. Like, I'm not going to tell anyone. Oh, I'm also not going to tell the community that there's a freaking group of people with helicopters that could attack at any minute. It's like, I don't know. These decisions, they just don't do it for me. And the fact that Josh decides to help him lie as well, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just not smart character-wise. I get story-wise why Anthony kind of wanted to go this route, you know, just to keep the tension and all that. But just character-wise, it just feels out of place for, like, even Josh to kind of go along with it as well. I can kind of understand Anthony, but when Josh starts to go along with it, I'm like, nah, it just feels out of place for the character, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, let's get to some positives. Okay, so the music. When it was in the episode, it was very well done. It was intense, and it put you in the scene. It immersed you in the scene, in my opinion. Another thing I really liked was the chase and fight scene with the One World Order soldier. I thought that was very good, and I liked when, he's basically like, if you kill me, like, it won't matter in the end, and Anthony's basically like, oh, yeah, it will, and he shoots him and takes the map. I thought that was a really good scene. And as much as I don't like Anthony doing, like, the one-man army stuff, I still have to give props. The way it was shot when Anthony's, like, walking up to the outpost, and he's like, the fun's only getting started, and he just whips a grenade at, like, those 3 guys outside of the outpost, and they get blown up. Then you cut to the cliffhanger, and you hear the gunfire and shit. I was like, oh, man, what a way to end an episode. Yeah, there's problems with that, like, whole concept, but the way it was shot, the way it was filmed, and just the way it was done that way, I really liked it personally. So it's almost like a negative and a positive there, in a way, like, kind of like some weird mix-up there, I guess. Scott is not in this episode, because, if you guys don't remember, because it's been a while since we've seen 501, Scott was shot, and, we see him at, like, the very beginning, and he's kind of, like, lying in the bed bleeding out. But, like, that's all we really get from Scott this episode, which is fine. Like, you can't just expect him to be like, oh, I'm okay, I'm in the episode again after being shot. So, yeah, I understand why he wasn't in it. But, yeah, overall, guys, it was a pretty good episode. I did have my issues with it, though, unfortunately. However, I will say, after episode 3, episode 2's quality has gone up a lot for me, fortunately. And it's a lot better than the premiere now, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going to upgrade my original score from 502 to a 6 to a 7. What are your thoughts on the episode, Dan?
Well, honestly, I thought this was a very just well done episode when it comes to, when the music is there, it's very good for sure. But, like Matt was saying, this episode, it has its problems. It absolutely does. To be honest, for me, the problems with this one is the whole Scott thing for me. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of him just not being barely a character at all. Put his character to use is all I'm saying. And honestly, I think Scott could have been used a heck of a lot more than he was. And I'll tell you another thing about this episode that I wasn't really the biggest fan of, and it's that, man, I love this show, but just add music, man. Add music to these scenes because like Matt just said, when the music is there, it's fire. It's absolutely fire. It's just when it's not, it's so, I guess, awkward is the word I'm going to use. And it's really just boring because, yeah, you think a scene like Anthony going after these, plague people would be actually like really fun to see. But when you've got this just silent, background, birds chirping in the background, it's not good. It's just really weird. And it doesn't make the scene enjoyable. Whereas if there was music in it, I could see this being one of my favorite scenes of the episode. So, just small things like that could have really helped this episode. However, another flaw is as well the scene at the end. I do like the way it's done. I like the music. I like when he kind of walks up to them, but also just the stupidity of the decision of what he's doing. It unfortunately is there, in my opinion. However, let's talk about a few positives here. I love the chase scene with the soldier from the One World Order group. I love that. And I do really like just kind of that whole, fight scene. I thought that was really well done. And I do also like Samantha's new look. I think that looks really cool. I dig the new look for the character. And I do like what we got with the music and with the beginning of the battle at the outpost. I thought it was good. So, decent episode. That's my thoughts.
Perfect. Yeah, I agree with all of what you said there too. And I actually forgot to mention this in my segment, but yeah, Samantha's new look. I definitely think that it's the best look for the character. I'm glad the pink hair's gone, just because I thought the pink hair, not to come off as rude, but I always thought it was just a little silly. So I'm kind of glad that that's been changed. But yeah, I agree with all of what you just said there. Okay guys, so I'm going to cut the clip here, and we're going to give you our thoughts on 503. Okay, so 503. So what did I think of the next episode that is part of this double review? Well guys, I gotta say, big step up from 502. Major step up. The action is very good in this episode. I like the music in this episode too. That's one thing I have to compliment is... And notice that, Undead Freak, he's added a lot more music this episode, and, he even said to us, this season, there's gonna be a lot more music, in these upcoming episodes, so that's actually really something that I'm looking forward to. And, the music choices this episode are, wow, dude, when you got the helicopter flying over, you got, the score starting to boot up and stuff. When he's at the outpost, you got this intense soundtrack over it. It really puts you in the scene, and it's very well done in my opinion. So yeah, the music is A+ as far as I'm concerned for this episode. The plot this episode I actually really like too. I like that Anthony, he takes these guys out. He's he's wiping the outpost clean, and then you got the one last soldier that's holding him hostage, he's holding them hostage, and Anthony basically says you have my word, we can both leave here alive, just let me go. And freaking the guy brings him up and stuff, and Anthony just shanks him, just kills him in cold blood. I thought that was a really good scene because it shows the evolution of the character, where Anthony used to not really be crazy like that, where now he's yeah, you know what, fuck you. He just shanks him, just kills him. Brutal scene in my opinion. I really liked it. The Josh and Samantha stuff was pretty good. However, there is a little bit of stuff there I'm not a big fan of, what he's yeah, he got shot. There's nothing to worry about. I'm getting shot is fatal, right? That can kill you. So I don't know, I thought that was a little weird, dialogue-wise in my opinion. However, it's only a small thing, it's not like it ruins the episode or anything like that. The ending of the episode was very intense too, when David and his men are outside the walls, and he's like, let the exterminator in so I can eliminate the pest. I was like, oh, that's a really, like, crazy line. And we actually have a shot from the trailer that basically confirms that David's going to be blowing the entire wall up, and who knows what the heck happens after that, guys. Like, honestly, what a cliffhanger in my opinion. No Scott in this episode again, but, you know, it's understandable, as we kind of discussed earlier in the video. And, yeah, overall, guys, very solid episode of The Plague, and one of my favorites of the reboot era of The Plague. I'm not gonna lie, this was a solid episode. Yeah, so what did you think of this episode, Dan?
So, in my opinion, this was a fantastic episode of The Plague. I think that this episode is, honestly, there's not much wrong with it, to be honest. It's a major step up of episode 2, and I honestly think this episode just has so much to it, because the music is, you know, that's what I always say, too, is that it's like, when Anthony uses music, he does a damn good job, and that's what happens with this one. It's like, not only is the music good, the amount is just phenomenal. Finally, we have an episode with a lot of really great music, but it's all throughout, and that's why I got a compliment, because it's really, really good. And like Matt said, it really puts you in the scene, and I gotta say, I was really excited for this episode literally within the first, like, 30 seconds, because the intro for this one's pretty short. You just see him, like, kill a few of the guys, and then you cut to the intro basically right away. And it's just like, I don't know, you see Anthony kill those 2 men, or I think it's maybe even possibly 3. I'll have to go back and check. But I'll tell you this, that opening scene, really great, got me in the mood. And then you just got him going through this outpost and just killing a bunch of these men. The slow-mo as well, I might add, it just added to it for me personally. The slow-mo just adds to the more brutality side of things, and it's just really cool to see. I really like the guy that, you know, of course, Anthony makes a deal with, and, you know, kind of going with the title of the episode, too. One of the best titles for an episode for me, just because the connection to the episode is really good. You Have My Word, and it's like, he just kills the dude, and it's like, okay, wow. So that character, Anthony's character, really changed from the earlier seasons, and in my opinion, he is a lot smarter, you know, this season than some of his decisions were in the previous season. I like the character a little bit better in this season, and I can actually kind of relate to Anthony a little bit, you know, a little bit of kind of like what he's doing in this one, I actually, you know, agree with. And I like the feeling of panic as, you know, he kind of, you know, hears that David never left and that he's got to rush back to the community. And yeah, the ending of this episode, while I don't like the stuff previous with Josh and Samantha, the whole like, oh, maybe you got shot. It's like, yeah, you're gonna calm down about that? Like, no, you should still be on edge. But either way, the ending was fantastic. The cliffhanger was just, oh, it was phenomenal. And yeah, you know, we know that David is not playing games, and in the next episode, he's gonna, you know, start raising hell. So I'm excited. And yeah, that was my thoughts. Fantastic episode.
And yeah, guys, so basically these 2 episodes, like, we got one decent one and one really good one. Yeah, guys, so actually, one thing I should mention is Plague 504 will actually be airing Wednesdays regularly again. That's what we've heard from Undead Freak 78. So yeah, like, only, like, basically a day and a half left until the next episode. So yeah, guys, stay tuned for our collab review for that one. And also, guys, I'm going to put my verdict up on the screen real quick. Thank you all for watching, guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.